Dear sisters, it's been 3 months since my wife and I got intimate, and it's intentional. I'm looking at how long the two of us will go before she initiates intimacy. We've been married for 6 years and have 2 children. Through these years, she has never for once made a move on me or initiated physical touch. At this point, I can boldly say we have kids because of me. I'll tell them not to celebrate Mother's Day because their mother didn't initiate their existence.
Ouch.
She's an amazing wife. In fact, I give her all the marriage tick. She plays the role of a mother with a cape around her neck. She's annoying sometimes, but trust me, a woman her type is a limited edition. I love her and won't trade her for anything. If only she could do this for me, then our marriage would be a perfect one. But she wouldn't. We've had conversations about it. I taught her how to start and how to keep going. I've taken her to the drawing board, showing her the map of my body, indicating where the tingling buttons are. But she simply can't bring herself to press them. I love to be touched, so I give touches freely. My wife won't do it freely and won't do it even if you tell her to. She'll tell me, what's wrong if you do it all the time? Is it not the same thing? So I decided to stay away and see how far we could go without it. It's been 3 months so far, and she doesn't even flinch or feel that something is missing. She sleeps and snores while I lay awake thinking of whether I should initiate or stay away. What can I do to make her change? Or were some women born never to initiate? Please help me, sisters. You have a big smile on your face, and it's a very cheeky, and it's a very cheeky one. What? Guys, no. I saw you smiling. I turned to Rosie, and she's smiling too. What's going on? Also, okay, what's going through your minds, Rosie?
I mean, I think that you have a very fantastic wife. You said it yourself, and unfortunately, not everybody is sexual. Some people have a very high sexual drive. They are the ones who pounce on you at every second, and they want it morning, afternoon, evening. But there are actually some people that are simply not sexual. And some of it may be genetic. Some of it may even be how they were brought up. So if you're brought up in a way that, let's say, sex was supposed to be a bad thing, a preserve of until you get married, and then the communication around sex was not exactly very pleasant. It's used to have kids, and it wasn't exactly pleasant. You know, it sows a seed of sex is a need to do activity, and not exactly for pleasure. So over a period of time, if that's how she's taught, that's how she's seen sex as and everything. For all you know, growing up, she couldn't even initiate the topic of sex. She can't even talk about it. She can't even discuss it with anybody, not with her parents, not with anybody. And it could also be that genetically she's also not a very sexual person. Her love language might be very different. Maybe it can be acts of service, the way she's talking about, the way she does her things. So for her, once she's cooked, she's cleaned, the children are catered for, and all of that, that is her, you know, her show of love. That's her thing. So it's unfortunate. I keep saying this thing all the time that when sex is good, it's actually taken for granted, or when that, you know, that whole concept is working well in a marriage, it is being taken for granted. But when there are lapses, it can take away a lot from the relationship. So in this case, this woman is perfect by his standards, except for this little thing. But I realize that it's costing him sleepless nights. So it's a big deal. Now, what I'll tell him is that, look, we're all very different. And we all have things that come to us naturally. It's difficult because as a man, sex is important to you. The good thing is that when you ask her, she doesn't deny you. That's the good thing. The good thing is when you initiate it, she has never stopped you, which is a good thing. I think that even though you've given her coaching, you've given her which buttons to press, what to do, I would suggest that you keep at it. Sometimes education doesn't sink in overnight. It sinks in over a period of time. And also find out what she does during the day. It's possible that when she says she sleeps and snores while you are thinking about, I'm thinking that maybe during the day she's inundated with a lot of work.
Yeah, with
so
the kids.
Most of the time when she's sleeping, the last thing on her mind is sex. So when you initiate it, okay, this is one last duty to do, then I can go to bed, then she'll do it. But maybe check what she does during the day. Does she go to work, come back, cook, make sure the kids take their bath, make sure they sleep? If she goes through all that process, try taking some of that process away from her and doing it with her in the kitchen. So, because sex doesn't begin when you are in bed. Sex actually begins from the morning, like much earlier on. The way you do your things, how you move around, what you help with in the house. So check all that process. If you are with her in the kitchen, helping her small to clean, the kids take their bath, you are dressing them, you know, that environment brings about a lot of touching, a lot of, you know, so you'll be surprised that in that process, a lot of touching will be done. But if you think that sex starts in the bedroom, so now that the lights are off, the kids are asleep and everything, then now it's time. These are the buttons, press, so that I know that you are initiating it. Then you feel like, yeah, then it feels like you are treating like a remote control, you know, okay, it's now time, switch, on, play, pause, you know, slow motion, right. quick, you know, you understand. So I think that evaluate the whole process, not just the bedroom. And if somebody who can initiate sex, who can't initiate sex, I'm having a feeling that even though you've discussed it with her, she probably hasn't communicated her challenges to you. I'm guessing that. That's not a fact. I'm just guessing that she probably hasn't communicated her challenges to you because she probably doesn't know how it's going to settle. So you just try and help around with some of the chores that she does in the house. So be in that space with her when she's working out. Because sleeping and snoring whilst you're awake, dear, for me, it suggests that she's tired. So help her out, and who knows, she might also start doing all these things small. But over time, I'm sure she'll learn. Don't trade, even though I know it's difficult, as a man, sometimes you want to feel like you want to feel attracted to your wife. So when somebody walks up to you and makes the moves, it makes you feel good. Just like when your husband sees you and goes like, oh, wow, you look hot. It makes you feel good. Men also want to feel good, so I can understand that. But don't trade what you have for this issue. Right. Just take your time. I'm sure it will happen.
Olivia?
Yeah. I mean, Rosina hit the nail right on the head, and I couldn't agree with her anymore. You know, a woman whose mind, body, and soul is just relaxed, lying next to her man, with nothing to worry about, and just feeling at ease, is a woman who is like marshmallow.
I really can't.
You can't relate.
I can't relate, guys. What's going on?
As a woman who's like marshmallow.
Are you sure? I can't relate.
You know, in front of some fireplace, it's like gogo. You know, and when you are happy, you know, when you're not stressed out about work, about, you know, the kids, like Rosie was saying, you know, Charlie, I'm thinking about tomorrow, what am I going to cook? I have to, are the onions and the tomatoes, have I prepped it? I have to get up. Like, a woman who is relaxed, right, has time to sort of accommodate a man who has been by his side and who has been supportive, kind, loving, has supported her in the kitchen. They all came back from work. He's helping out, cleaning diapers, the kids, their homework, they are chatting in the kitchen, and then he smacks her bum, and then she, like, her mind is settled because she knows that she has support, she knows that she has love, she knows that she has, you know, she has you. So after all that is said and done, after a shower, when you come and lie by her, and you are touching her, nothing will sort of spoil the mood. Having said that, every woman is different, like Rosie said. Every single woman is different. And not every woman will be excited to initiate sex. So that very important conversation needs to be had. Now, you do say that you've taught her, you've spoken about it. But the thing is, within this last 3 months that you have not initiated sex, how has the vibe been? You know, as much as you are talking to her, have you asked her what her sexual fantasies are? Have you asked her how she would feel? What prevents her from coming over and touching you, coming over and cuddling you, coming over and giving you a kiss on your cheek, on your neck? You know, have you asked her what is scaring her? Have you told her that you don't mind her being your prostitute? You know, because it was my husband who referred me to this YouTube video, whereby people were asking, why do men go to prostitutes for sex? The man left the marriage, he went to a prostitute for... You know what? The prostitute or the slave queen, or however it is that we want to call them, married women who are slow, however it is that you want to call them, these men go there because, however we want to look at it, they want that kind of, there's no nagging. She would look them in their eye. She would give them the sex. She would initiate all the sex. She would do all the riding. She would do the work.
But
and
she's getting paid for it.
Yes, even though, no. Even though you see, if they had it where they wanted it, they won't go. I can't speak for every man. But, you know, they're looking for a particular need to be quenched. It's like you're looking for water or you're looking for soda water. Which one? Like, there's one that gives you a buzz and there's one that is just flat. But at the end of the day, they want that extra kick. They want to be able to finally arrive. You know, there is arriving and there's arriving. Do you get what I mean? Like, there's somewhere but you actually get to Mount Canaan and you are like, hey, God, where have I come to? And there's some that is like, okay, you're better than that.
Wow.
Do you get?
Wow.
So,
Olivia.
But with this one, I
You
don't
just
think
have to-
performance is an issue.
no,
I
I'm
think it's more
I'm just saying.
initiating.
I'm just saying. So I'm just trying to a woman who is probably listening, right? Why men will do certain things and why it is very important for us women to also initiate.
But how- yeah.
So my thing is, you see, if a woman also doesn't quite enjoy sex and sex ends up being a chore, then it's also a problem. So there could be so many. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is definitely that's what the woman is going through. But women need to be given something to look forward to. If sex is pleasurable, why is it that some women, you know, some women could probably have an ex and then you don't understand, the ex treats them bad and then you go like, but why do you keep going to that particular guy when you probably have a guy who is very faithful? Because that particular ex here, what the ex is doing, the guy who is faithful and the guy who is a good guy is not even doing or taking her to, you know, Mount Zion or wherever it is that she needs
Mount
to be.
Sinai.
Yes, exactly. Because, you know, if you treat a woman well and you know how to handle a woman's body, nothing will make her want you. So you maybe as a man, you might think that, oh, you know, you've taught her the buttons to press and all of that. But at the end of the day, sex is very, what do you call it, spiritual. And it's very intimate. And it has to be hand go, hand come. For you might never know, for all these years, has she been faking? You don't know. For all these years, like Rosie said, maybe she's just not wired to enjoy sex. And the question is, sex is meant to be pleasurable. It's meant to be enjoyed, and especially in the context of marriage.
Right.
So have that conversation with her. It doesn't, let her know that the fact that she initiates sex doesn't mean she's a bad girl. And this whole notion about, oh, when my wife initiates sex, when she initiates sex, it means that, oh, she's a sports girl or she is bad or she's... Let the conversation of sex be easy. And let it be gradual and let it be, okay, these are my fantasies. What are your fantasies? Let's go on this journey together and be patient because it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Olivia said something and I wanted to hammer it. The fact that maybe she's faking. Now, it just came to mind when she made, you know, the fact that you see yourself as a sex coach in the relationship, because you do the initiating and everything, it's possible that what you are giving is not what she's enjoying.
Yeah.
And it's possible that the way you are giving it is not what she sees as pleasurable.
Wow, I'm having
so,
a
so
whole
maybe
vision.
maybe you are all into penetral.
Yeah.
Go in, then you are done. So since you're all into penetral, you are all into your buttons that get pushed.
Your own buttons.
Your
Yeah,
own
but what
buttons,
about hair?
the thing is that what about hair buttons? One. And two, what makes her excited? It's possible that she doesn't want to burst your bubble because
Yeah.
listen, I've seen men get as for me, look,
Charlie,
and you
got it
and
going
then you
on.
realize that
Surely.
Nothing
Trini
happened.
Kotrenum, you
Yeah.
understand? So I'm just saying that look, you know, you have men who will boast and then you go and speak to their girlfriends and they'll tell her, Charlie, if not for the money and how she takes care of me, I would not sit for this. You understand?
Right.
So I think that look, in as much as you are looking at she doesn't initiate, why should she initiate something that is not pleasurable to her? So it's possible that she's not deriving pleasure, but she doesn't want to say to burst your bubble.
Yeah.
Because she sees the way you come in macho, the way you come in like you know the thing, you are doing the thing. You understand? So she doesn't want you to
And maybe the kissing cry, you probably can't kiss
see,
well.
that's
The
what- please,
breath,
Olivia,
like
don't remind me. See, back in the day, I saw this gentleman that was the perfect thing since sliced bread. See, after that one case, my mouth was swollen for 2 days.
Oh,
See,
okay, each other.
I couldn't, so I had to move around like holding in my lips, like, because see, but
was
my
chewing your mouth.
lips felt turgid, like, you see that all the blood, even in my whole body had rushed into my lips. It felt like I had done a Botox or something on my lips, as if I had injected something.
Rosie, I hope he's not watching the show.
Look, look, for all you know, he doesn't even know he does that. And I just thought about like, hey, this is just my lips.
sorry.
What did this guy just
Your
See,
breath.
and meanwhile, this is somebody that I saw like a potential. After that one case, I made all manner of excuses why I didn't have to kiss that guy again. And that was the end of the potential relationship.
Well,
So maybe you're not doing it right.
Right,
So
right,
let's
right.
get
I think
that.
I agree with you on that, but like I have my own views too, in the sense that we have talked about everything that concerns, like, you know, initiating sex and how sex should feel, but we haven't really spoken about what if she went through some sort of trauma, sexual abuse. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that affects a lot of women.
Yeah.
I've seen some women that say, okay, this happened to me years ago, but when I entered marriage, I didn't want anything to do with sex. So they
Yeah.
try to block, you know, that part out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you babies and everything, but even you touching me, I don't feel anything, but it's just my obligation to just have babies, to just be your wife and do it. So maybe she is that sort of person, but have not opened up yet.
It definitely could be.
it's a possibility.
If that is the case,
But-
it means that she's completely, like you're saying, she's completely
Blocked,
blocked
yeah.
out. So there's nothing that will give her pleasure, no matter what what her husband does. But the thing is also that there are actually sex therapists around, because just like people go for therapy to sort of help them rewire, there's also opportunities for her to go through therapy, for them to sort of help her rewire, go back to basics. It will hurt, but she could also do the journey with him in
Yeah.
terms of moving forward.
Right.
And sometimes it's always good to get help with
Yeah.
regards to things
Well,
like that.
well, that for me, even though that's a possibility, I don't see it as a huge possibility in this particular case. The reason being that normally people who go through such traumas, not only would they not initiate, but they don't participate. They might be there to harness the semen, to give you the babies that you want, but I'm suspecting that if that's the case, he would also be complaining about how very passive
Or
she
dead
is,
she is, yeah.
or dead during the process. But I don't think he's complaining about how passive. So I think that the possibility of being abused may be a little remote in this particular case. But definitely, women who don't like sex, there are stories where it's because of their past, what
Yeah.
they've gone through, the trauma
Yeah,
they've been through.
yeah.
But this
And maybe
particular
sometimes
one,
even changing the place as well,
Right.
where you have sex too, could help.
Okay, so anyway, this has been so much of sex. Like I'm just hearing sex in my head.
please don't think any
Let's take
ideas
a
yet.
quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into the second. Let's